minute. We're live, but I gotta find my little comment box thing.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Now let me get this pulled up on my phone. I just need to silence it. But why is it not doing like normal?
Lay down. Lay down, kitty.
I don't know.
You lay down, mommy will pet you. Lay down, kitty.
The heck? I'm having technical difficulties with my phone. Hold
Half
on.
just has to be all up in this today. He's like, hello, witchy YouTube community.
That's so cute.
He's never laid up here when I was doing any kind of videos before. So this is like, okay.
He said he is going to be in this video.
Mm-hmm.
It says, hey, witches.
Yep. We are
Just
live.
welcome to their live stream.
Now, don't chew the corners of my book. Don't do that.
Okay, so where is it at?
Hey, excuse me. Please don't chew my book. Thank you.
Why can't I find this? Oh, there we are. Okay. It was just taking forever to pop up.
Will you stop chewing my pages?
But I see us now.
Stop it.
Okay.
You're being a nudge right now. I'm going to put you on the floor if you're going to keep being a nudge.
Okay. So there's nobody in here yet, but do you want to just go ahead and get started?
Yeah, that works.
I mean, since we both can't be on here long, and then people can watch the playback, or
He's trying to climb into a box that's like barely fitting on the edge of the chair on the other side of the camera, and I'm like, if that falls, I'm gonna pee myself. Like, I'm just gonna bust out laughing. All right, so I think
that was so fun.
Now that I have cat hair all over everything, oh, there goes the box.
I heard it. That is so funny.
He wants attention. All right, so I think I left off with some of the beginner books I was talking about, being Earth, Air, Fire, Water, being a really good book to start with, by Scott Cunningham. This is for those who want to do like more elemental magic workings. Just again, because when I started off as Wiccan because all I had was books, and I didn't have anybody that I could talk to about witchcraft or anything, and the internet wasn't, it wasn't what it is today where you can find everything on the internet now. We're talking like back in the year 2000, so about 19 years. So yeah, but this is a really good book. It's very Wicca based, but I still refer back to some of the spell work in here or ritual work, and I just take it as my own and just reword things, totally redo things with the same maybe sort of like layout or outline, but not the same. So
I think Scott Cunningham is an amazing, any of his stuff I think is amazing for beginner witches. I think it's great, and you can build upon that because most of his stuff is, it's beginner. But I think he's wonderful at what he does.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I apologize because most of my books are, my older books anyway, or beginner books are Wicca based, but that's just where I started. And, but this one's
it's hard to find any books. Especially beginner books when you're first starting out. It's so hard to find anything that's not Wiccan, There's
true.
not that many.
This one I don't feel is too Wicca-y or whatever you want to call it. It's not, this isn't too Wiccan, but this is a newer book that has come out recently that I'm still reading or like reading through. It's called The Green Witch.
Oh, that's cool. I think
I really like this one. So far, it's really good, and it's all like natural magic. If you want to work more with, the earth and herbs and stuff like that. Book's really good.
I think I've got a Green Witch. Is it a Green Witch? No, maybe it's a Wyld. Maybe it's the Wyld Witch. But it's pretty much the same, like green. It's like the Green Witch with a little of like hedgecraft, that kind of stuff in it too. Definitely more like the Wyld Woman.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Definitely another one. Like I have like at least like 5 more books to go through after this one, just because I really think these are good. But this one's another one by Silver Ravenwolf. So it's more of a Wicca-based type of book, but it's silver spells for protection. I think is definitely a good thing to look into, because then it'll give you the basis of, you know, where to start when protecting yourself, your family, your vehicle, your home, whatever. You know, it's just a good starting point.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you brought that up, though, talking about protection, because I think as witches, like when you first start, you're so excited to, you know, get into spell work and you want to do all this stuff. But I think learning how to do protection spells is a must at first, you know, or it was for me, because you've got to know how to protect yourself. And if you have family, you know, so that's great. That's a great recommendation there.
Well, that and like being inexperienced in the beginning, like, in a sense, like, some people may not know what they're doing or conjuring up. And I'm not saying that as like a bad thing, but it's just in the beginning, you know what I mean? You're right. You might not know how deep you're getting yourself. You know what I mean? At first. So
yeah.
Another one too that I think is really good, for people that are really into the magical holidays. This one is the Magical Year, and I believe like it's pretty thick. So like every chapter is you know, the different magical holidays like Samhain and Beltane, you know, all that, the summer solstice, winter solstice, all that stuff. And it covers like the history of the holidays and like different lore and like little, you know, crafts and stuff you can do for each of those times of the year. So I think that's really good if you're really into the holidays. Now, like, I celebrate some and then I don't celebrate some. I'm kind of back and forth. Like some of them, like if I feel it, if I'm feeling it, I make a bigger deal about it. But if I'm not really feeling it, I'm kind of like, you know, blessed summer solstice, and that's really it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like I normally do this, the turning of the wheel, or the 4 seasons. You know, I always do the 4 seasons because that's huge in my practice. And then I do Beltane and Samhain, and those are the 2 that I really relate to. You know, and that's really about it. That I do.
All right, so another good one to start with is another Cunningham book, Scott Cunningham. It's the Encyclopedia of Crystal, Gem, and Metal Magic. I think this is really good. Now, granted, I'm sure there's a lot more different types of crystals and gemstones that are like newer to what there was when this book was written, but it even gives you like pictures of what they look like and different kinds. And then it tells you the different magical correspondences that go with them. Now, granted, you know, it could say, oh, rose quartz is for love, you know, and you may feel it's for something else. Again, like, you don't have to follow the books to a T. You know, you could feel rose quartz as using something else and not just love. You know what I mean? So.
Right.
But this is really good to learn about the different gemstones and crystals and stuff, and like get an idea of what their magical properties are.
Yeah, this is another good crystal book. This is Judy Hall. It's the Crystal Bibles. Now this is the Crystal Bible 3. But she makes all different ones, and it's the same thing. Like, it gives the properties. Ow, I hit myself in the face. It gives like the property, the rarity, the source, the appearance.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, like the healing, the positions, attributes, and then, you know, pictures as well. So yeah, this is I really like the Crystal Bibles. They're really good. But that's another, you know, suggestion.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard good things about those books. I just never found any. I hope it's not my son up or it's thunder, but I haven't found any in my area or whatever. Another good one I really like too. This is another Scott Cunningham. I really think that's thunder. Is the Complete Book of Incense, Oils, and Brews, and this gives you like bases on making like ritual soaps, oils, you know, making your own incense, really getting into the herbal, you know, craft, and making your own herbal things to go with your spell work, like oils for dressing candles, or oils for anointing yourself, or oils for anointing, you know, your stuff that you use in your practice. You know,
like magic powders and stuff, powders, like incense, magic powders.
All kinds of stuff. And this book really helped me out a lot in the beginning. And I refer to it, but not as much as I used to, because a lot of it's like to me, a lot of it's harder to come by ingredients. So I kind of just usually use what I can easily acquire. You know what I'm saying? Like either through ordering from Amazon or something, or, you know, stuff I have laying around, or I'm able to like flowers that I grow, or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. See, I love, you know, harvesting my own stuff, but I like stuff too. But I like working with out there ingredients as well, like herbs that one of my favorite is an herb that's like from Africa. You know, I like all different kind of crazy stuff, but I love like wildcrafting because the energy is so, it seems like the herbs that I collect myself are not even necessarily that I collect myself, but maybe that grow in my area. Those seem, the energy seems so much stronger, you know,
they're more connected to you too. Yeah, I like drying my own herbs that I've grown myself, and like they definitely have a better feel to them. Like, not saying you can't just substitute with a store-bought thing of basil, you know, the dried basil herbs or whatever, but excuse me, but like when you grow it and dry it yourself, it's definitely a lot different, and it's cool.
Yeah.
But and then I only have 2 more books, beginner books to go through. So I've heard a lot of people like talk about they like were raised Christian or Catholic or whatever, and I know like prayers and stuff like that are like a huge thing for some people. And you know, I think for someone transitioning from a Catholic or a Christian religion, this book would be pretty cool, because if you're big on prayer and you want to incorporate that into your witchcraft or your magical workings and stuff, this book is called A Book of Pagan Prayer.
That's so cool.
It's small. It's, you know, it's not, it's smaller than my hand.
It's cute.
It is. And it has prayers for like everything. Now, I just think it's cool because some of them I'll like reword, and some of them I really resonate with that are in here. Like there's prayers for birth, death, marriage, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It just says wiser books. It doesn't say, oh, I can't even read that. It's like Sezawir, I don't know. I'm butchering his name, but Sarith is what
just
it says.
Look up the name.
Yeah, just look up the book. It's called A Book of Pagan Prayer. There you go. So those of you that are really into prayers and stuff like that, this is definitely something that you might want to look into. And the last one, this is actually, I'm borrowing this from a friend, and I still have to give it back to her. I keep forgetting about it, but luckily she lives like around the corner from me. But this is for those of you that struggle with coming out of the broom closet, because this book is called Out of the Broom Closet. And this is, and there's like cat hair on it, this is just real life stories of people telling their story of how they came out of the broom closet, and like, you know, and how they embraced their life in witchcraft and stuff, and like told their family and friends, and just, you know, stuff like that. And it's really has really cute stories in it. So
that's cool.
For those of you that like might want to muster up the courage to like come out of the broom closet, you know, this would be something cool to read. And I think whether you come out of the broom closet or don't, it's totally up to you. Either way is perfectly fine. But I thought this was really cool. A lot of good
stuff. I mean, especially if you're wanting to come out, but you don't know really how to start, you know, that conversation. And there you go. I've got a few that I want to mention. I don't have many. But
this is the glories of the internet.
Yeah, true. And the library. That was like my saving thing right there, you know. But this is the Witch's Companion. It's the essential guide to being a witch. And I think
that's cool.
This lady, Soraya, it says she's a white witch, but I'm pretty sure everything's based on Wicca, even though it doesn't really come out that much and say it, but everything's about we can read, you know. But this gives, like, especially if you're just getting started and you have tons of questions on, I mean, just everything related to witchcraft. It has it, like, covens, like what is magic, you know, the difference between Wiccan, witch, and pagan, the moon cycles, the zodiac, the planets, how to cast a circle, initiation, like the holidays, spell casting, you know, all that. And then like ingredients, and I think it gives recipes.
That's cool.
You know, and so stuff like that too. So it's pretty cool, you know, for when you first get started.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not like a huge giant book either.
No, it's It's small. So that's one that I really liked when I started. And I also loved the Witch's Almanac.
Oh yeah.
And it's a calendar, but it gives stories too. And some are well, most all the stories are, you know, like stories that's been passed down. It might have stuff about shamans, it might have stuff about Egyptians, you know, like King Tut, all kinds of stuff.
That's
but
cool.
Tons, and like all kinds of stories about witchcraft and you name it, it's in here. Like here is stuff on symbols, like on graves and what these symbols mean.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it gives like see, here's information on poppets, on binding. Like, and here's this picture. I don't know if you can see it.
Barely, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it shows like real people too, and then, you know, all kinds of stuff. Like here's Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's his birth chart, you know, and it like breaks it down. Yeah, so it has tons of stuff. Like your astrological keys, you know, so like the moon phases and when the moon goes into different zodiacs and all that kind of stuff. And it'll give you like, on this day, pick up acorns. And then, you know, another week it might say, use those acorns for a banishing spell or something, you know. So it does cool stuff like that.
I like that, and that would be good even for an advanced witch, or like not really advanced, but just somebody who's been practicing a long time, like somebody like me, even, like where like you can incorporate more magic into your everyday, because sometimes my practice comes in waves where like I'll practice heavily for a lot, like a while, and then sometimes I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like it just comes and goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's cool too, because you can write stuff down, you know, in there too, like the calendar. So you can, you know, print out everything, and it gives you like all the meanings, you know, of everything. So it really is cool, especially, you know, like my favorite part's the stories. You know, because there's so many different stories in there. But so if you're looking to, maybe you want to find a deity, your goddess, or maybe you work with gods, I don't know, but you don't know where to start, then you can research pantheons. You can get books. Like this one is one that I got. It's classical mythology, and it has the Greek and Roman deities in here. And it's really cool because it breaks it down like a family tree.
Oh, cool. I like that.
It lists everybody, and then it goes through and gives you each deity, and it lists like if it's a goddess or a god, and like
I like that.
how it's related, you know, like all the children, you know, everything. It's got it all in there. So that's really cool. And then the last one I have, which is an amazing book. Now it is super big. But this is The Magician's Companion, a practical and encyclopedic guide to magical and religious symbols or symbolism. So you can use this book like a study guide if you want to. Like this, I still use this because it's got everything that relates to witchcraft. Just about is in this book. Like it is amazing. And yeah, but it teaches you like different ways to use it. So you can use it as a reference, as a study guide, and then it gives you pretty much any witchcraft topic that you're interested in. It lists it in here. Now it might be only a paragraph, but it gives you books that goes into the topic, you know. So that's really, really cool, really cool. And like I said, I mean, it has so much. Like I'm telling you, everything you can think of just about is in this book.
That's really cool. Great. And I've never heard of that book before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know?
I'm intrigued.
It goes over like the Hopi Indians, the Kabbalah, like witchcraft, Buddhism, like all kinds of stuff. It has pantheons, and it lists like all different pantheons, deities that are associated. I mean, it even gives like demon lists, like some king demon, and then the queen demon, and then like all these different levels, and like the metal that's associated with them, elements, like all this information, you know. And it's like that on deities and everything. yeah, like it's so much information, but it's really cool. And like I said, you can use it as a beginner, or you can use it, you know, if you've been practicing witchcraft 100 years, you know, it
I
doesn't.
like that.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And if you're interested in sigils and stuff like that, they have some great sigils and like teach you how to draw them and everything. So
that's cool.
Really cool. But that's my book recommendation.
I want to check that book out only because, like, even though I've been doing this like 19 years and counting pretty much, like, there's always more stuff to learn in your practice. There's always, like, and I'm so eclectic with where I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and like all kinds of different stuff that I just throw together and make my own. So I just think that's awesome that there's like always something else to learn, you know?
Hey, is it Shamara Warrior Spirit just said, hey girl,
hey. How are you?
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for watching. We're finally able to get on here, considering the like crazy hoopla we had on the solstice where it just was not letting us keep this video going.
It was not. Yeah, and I keep looking down because my phone's down here, but I also forget that I'm checking, you know, messages on here because it's not pulling up on here. I don't know if that's a message like to you or if that's,
I don't know.
Let me see.
I can't see the comments at the moment, so.
Yeah, see, I don't know if that's to me. I mean, if that's to you or if that's everywhere, you know, if everybody can see it. So
what if it's
I
like
have it on my phone.
Are you talking about the girl saying hey? Is that what you're meaning?
No, I'm talking about on my computer, on my desktop, there's like a little chat section on the right side.
Okay.
But I don't think that's the live chat. I think that's chat, like a chat between me and you.
Oh.
Like where we can type, you know, as we're chatting too. I think that's what that is because it doesn't show up on here, you know, in the live stream. Gotcha. So anyway.
Moving on.
Next. All right. So I guess you want to jump into meditation.
Yeah, meditation. We wanted to talk about what visualizations, finding your intuition, stuff like that. Just some more beginner stuff. So I don't know if you want to start or you want me to start.
It don't matter. Hold on just 1 second. Sherry Bug. Hey, Sherry Bug. She just entered the chat and said,
hi.
Hey, Sherry Bug.
How you doing? Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much. So it don't matter. I mean, I can start. That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead.
We can just, whoever wants to jump in can jump in. So for me, meditation is a daily practice. I mean, I try my best to do it twice a day. Sometimes I don't get to. Sometimes I can only do it once a day, but it helps me on a daily basis. But in my practice, like, it is a must. You know, it is so important to do some type of meditation for my practice because for me to be able to cast successful spells, I have to focus my mind. Mm-hmm. Well, before meditation, I really could not focus my mind. And even when I first started, I could not focus to be able to see things through. You know? And so I had to practice and practice and practice. But it did get easier, you know. And now, I mean, I don't see me doing successful spell work or just a lot of the stuff that I do, like head writing. I wouldn't be able to do that without meditation.
This is
true. So it's so important. And there are so many different types of meditation that you can do. You don't just have to sit in lotus style, you know, sitting up with your back straight. Like there's so many. Yeah, exactly. Like there's movement meditation, such as, you know, walking, there's dance. I mean, you can do yoga, you can do Tai Chi. You know, like I love dancing to do a meditation, you know, like a dance. I love walking. Sometimes even when I clean my house, you know, I meditate because I feel like it's training, you know, my mind to be able to focus on more than one thing and still, you know, have control over my mind. But you know, there's guided meditations that you can do.
They're helpful too in the beginning when you're like first really into meditating. Their guided meditations are so helpful.
Yeah, they really are. That, and you know what? I tried to meditate first, like just sitting there, in the lotus position. And before I knew, I'm thinking of all kind of like, what am I going to cook? What do I got to do tomorrow? And, it would be forever. I'm just thinking just one thought right after the other, right after the other. And I started to get frustrated. I wanted to give up. And then I thought, well, let me try guided meditations. And I fell in love with it, and I did that until I was able to really focus. And then I moved on, to different forms of meditation. Now I can do, sitting in the lotus position and with the lights off, and it's completely fine.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to get there, and there's tools that you can use. Like I've got a few things out right here. So you can use like a drum like this when you meditate. You can use a singing bowl.
Yes.
These are some the little chimes you can use. One of my personal favorites. Now I use this more with head riding, but a rattle.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then you can use, other tools like what crystals, herbs, essential oils, sprays, incense, binaural beats, other music that you find soothing, you can use it as well. And, for me, I don't know about you, but like, it really was so frustrating when I first started.
Oh, me too. Me too.
And I just thought, oh my God, am I ever going to get this? Is it ever going to click? And, so I would start for a week. I started for 5 to 10 minutes a day. Yep. And then each week I would go up 5 to 10 minutes. And, by the end of the week, at a minimum, you're up to 20 minutes, already. Yeah. And so I would, until I could, I had to stay for a while on 20 minutes, and then I could move up and move up and move up. Yeah. And one of my biggest things was trying to figure out how to stop the thoughts, too, that was coming in.
Yeah.
So I would picture like this little waterfall, and the thoughts would like run down the waterfall and into a box, and I would tell myself, like, when I'm get through meditating, I'm going to open my box and the thoughts that are important will be there.
Yeah.
And so that really helped. And then focusing on your breath, every time like a thought, like it's okay that thought comes up, but acknowledge those thoughts.
Yep.
And keep moving, focus back on your breathing in and out, in and out, in and out. And, you'll get there. Just don't give up,
Yeah, eventually the thoughts quiet. And yeah, because I hear you. I mean, I've still even struggle with thoughts that just want to pop up when you're trying to meditate. And you know what's funny? What really helps me, because I slack a lot and don't really meditate as much as I should. So I'll give you guys the lazy way that I meditate. And I literally maybe spend like 15, 20 minutes listening to some kind of meditation music on YouTube as I'm falling asleep. And I let it play while I'm sleeping. And that's usually what I've been doing. But I know I need to like really make some time to just do it. It's tough when you got a toddler running around,
Yeah, but you're still meditating though. That's like our subconscious. I mean, we're going all the time, so you're still meditating. I do, and this helps me a lot too. I realize doing yoga first. So I do yoga. That's another thing that's like a must in my day to day. I do yoga. And as soon as I finish yoga, I don't even get off my yoga mat and I meditate. Okay. And that's my morning, meditation. But it feels like then your body's so relaxed, already, because you've been practicing your breathing technique the whole time you're doing yoga.
Yeah.
So
you there? Tell me we didn't get kicked out again.
Easy.
Oh, you're back. We're cutting in and out, love. I don't know what's happening. Are you there? Uh-oh.
Yeah. Can you see me?
I can see you now. You were cutting in and out there.
Hey. I was supposed to get so mad. Oh my gosh. Let me answer these real quick. Sherry Bug said that this is the first time she's been in the live chat and that she's glad to be here. Sherry Bug, thank you so much for joining us. And we are both so excited that you're here with us.
Yes.
And then Miss Shamara Warrior Spirit said her morning meditation is a must. Can't start my day without it. I feel you on that.
Right.
Let's see. I think that's it. I don't think I skipped any. If I skipped some, like if y'all have a question or something, put it in caps. And if I skip it, I will try to come back to it because I have to keep looking down at my phone to see your comments. So we're not forgetting about y'all.
I can't see the comments. So if there's anything specifically question-wise for me, just put it in caps, or in general, just put them in caps. And that way, you know, Miss Wild Witch will see it.
That's right. That's right. All right, so I hope everybody is still able to watch. You know, it's been raining here. The weather's been crazy for weeks now, and it's not raining right now, but it was earlier. And I don't know if it's gonna come back, but I don't know. The network messes up sometimes. So
it's been storming here, so it could be more me this time. You never know, because we had like the wildest rain and thunder going on like around 7:30, 8 o'clock my time. So it was pretty intense there for a bit.
Oh, okay. Sharebug asked, what is hedge riding? So hedge riding, and we'll talk about this in another one of our chats because we've got some more topics to cover. But hedge riding is when you travel the astral plane. So it's kind of like astral traveling or astral projection in a sense. It's with my practice, normally whenever I hedge ride, it's for a specific purpose though. So when I like astral travel, you can go all over the place. You don't have to just stick to one realm. Now, whenever I hedge ride, I normally go to the different 9 worlds, and it's for a specific purpose, normally to work with plant divas, or maybe I have a question about a plant. Then I try to go and talk to my guides and figure that out. And a lot of more work on myself, or a spell work. Maybe it requires too much energy, or maybe I don't have some of the stuff here with me on this physical plane. Then that's when I go and hedge ride. So it's pretty much like a hedge witch, which is what I am. Pretty much has 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the other world at all times. It's just what it is.
It's awesome.
So, but I will talk about, we'll, go over that topic on a different chat, because we've got so much to share with you guys. Like once we get over the beginner stuff, we'll start getting into more topics like this, because it is more of an advanced topic, because it can be dangerous, so we'll get into it though, girl. We got you.
Yep, we got it.
All right, so do you have anything else that you want to add to meditation, or do y'all have any questions about, meditation?
Well, while we wait and see if anybody's got any questions, one thing I really wanted to talk about that's super important to me with meditating is making sure that you ground and center yourself before and after your meditating sessions.
Yes.
Like keeping yourself, and visualizations for me go hand in hand with the way I ground and center, because I visualize white and red lights coming from either in the core of the earth or out in the universe, going through my body and stuff, to like really ground and center me. And I've talked about that, the white light, red light, grounding and centering visualization. I've talked about that in one of my past videos. So if you guys are curious as to what that is, definitely check that out, because I know that if you're just opening yourself up to these different energies and stuff, or, not like channeling, but in a sense where you're going to pick up stuff when you're meditating and things. And, sometimes that energy can be very overwhelming, and you can drain your own energy and make yourself sick. And I just, think that, grounding and centering is very important, just to keep your energy balanced.
Well, I think grounding and centering is important to do on a daily basis.
That too,
when you start working with energy, like I think of the analogy like you're the beacon on a lighthouse.
Yes.
You know, once you open yourself up to witchcraft and you're working with energy, you are, there's stuff that it's like a beam of light to them. You know, they see in like pitch black, you know, like darkness.
That's
you're like that light.
Spirits. It's like with that with spirits
Exactly.
too. Everything energy wise, good or bad, spirits good or bad, are all going to be drawn to you because you're opening yourself up and you're that light. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think, and two, like, you need to make sure you're grounded and centered. I mean, for one, so people can't take your energy, so people can't drain you, so you don't pick up on, you know, especially if you're an empath, you're going to pick up everything, you know, and like I think of Velcro, you know, and so you've got to make sure that you're centered, you know, and grounded and protected every day, and it's just, it's a great habit to go ahead and get into doing it, you know, go ahead and doing it on a daily basis. Cause like you said, I'm meditating. I mean, you're opening yourself up, and
you're vulnerable.
You need to make sure that you are protecting your energy too. And I mean, when you're center yourself, you're bringing all that energy in, you know, to your center. And that's really important.
Agreed. Well, that's one of the things with, you know, you mentioned being an empath. Like, I'm an empath. I feel like a lot of us are. That's another thing. Like, there's a really good book. Here's another book recommendation, guys. So, Empath, it's a complete guide for developing your gift and finding your sense of self. So, for those of you that maybe have just figured out you're an empath, or you didn't really know what it was, but you wind up like carrying other people's vibes or emotions and stuff, this would be really good for you to really learn about, you know, about yourself in that way. So that way you can work on protecting yourself and, you know, really using your abilities to your full potential.
That's right.
And
so so far I don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, you really, being an empath, you definitely have to really make sure you're more protective of your own energy and stuff, because being an empath, you're a sponge. So you're going to suck up all the vibes around you, whether you're knowingly doing it or not. And not that you're being an energy vampire, but you kind of are, because you can walk into a room and know everybody's feelings in a sense. Like, you could know that someone's pissed off or someone's upset or whatever the case may be without someone even saying a word. Like, you can just feel it, and you just feel it in your core, and you really need to protect yourself from that, because that will drain you and make you sick too, just from holding on to all those energies you feel.
Yeah, and people will come up to you too. Like, everybody's going to tell you their problems. Everybody's going to want help, advice, you know, all the time. And you know what? You're going to pick all that up. It's going to stick to you if you don't take care of that. You know, if you don't ground and center and protect yourself, that's all.
And let it go.
Going to stick to you. I had a friend that she went to the gas station, and she was like, she was in such a great mood. She was so happy, you know, and then she left the gas station, and she said she was just, you know, ready to rip somebody's head off. She was so mad, and just, she said, I mean, every little thing just pissed her off. And I was like, you know, you have to make sure that you do this, because this is what's going to happen if you don't, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I feel like too, like, back on the meditation topic too, is like, you know, meditating really, to me, goes hand in hand with your intuition as well. Like, if you're really wanting to work on developing your intuition and really getting to know and feel them inner voices, or those, like, you know, the inner gut feelings, like, meditation will really significantly help you with that too, as a beginner even, or even if you're more advanced. Like, it just helps you be more in tune with your intuition.
That, yeah. You know, I think, hey, Shelly just entered and said, she said, hold on. Hi, beautiful witches. Hi, beautiful Shelly.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. But yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that meditation, visualization, intuition, all of that goes hand in hand.
Yes.
You know, and it's just like anything that you do in your practice, where, you know, when you're starting off, you don't necessarily know what to do. You don't know where to begin, but you've got to begin somewhere. And once you figure out where to begin, you have to practice. That would be like if you play a sport or any other thing that you do that requires practice. It's anything. I mean, even your job, when you first take that position, You don't know. I mean, you have to practice. Well, that's the same thing with meditation, visualization, your intuition, and energy work. You know, you have to practice. And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said it don't, you know, I mean, it's not, it might sound like a lot, you know, like all these things you have to practice, but like we said, they do go hand in hand. And when you start practicing, you'll see how it all clicks, you know, and it gets easier and easier to where you can think like, okay, you might say shield, you know, like if you're needing protection around yourself, you might say shield, and that's all it takes. You know, because you've been doing it for so long, that shield instantly pops in place. You see it, you feel it, you know that it's there, you know, and it's because you've done it so much that you visualized it, you know, and you've manifested that shield. You know, you did it. So I think, you know, that it all goes hand in hand, and it all requires practice.
Agreed. And like with that too, like when you said like shield, boom, pops into place, there, we're done. Like that's how I am. I can do that. And then it's also with the grounding and centering. All I have to do is take a couple of deep breaths and say ground and center, and it's done. Like without even really having to visualize, because I've done it so much, but I feel it come over me. But then like with the intuition, I wanted to talk about, like, I know a lot of people comment on people's videos and comment asking, oh, well, what herb should I use for this? Or what crystal should I use for that? Or is it okay if I use this instead of that herb, or this or that crystal instead of this one? You know, that's where intuition can really come in handy for you guys. Like, I'm not saying you really need to get in touch with your intuition if you're asking those questions, but I feel like it can really help you come into your own and figure out what you want to do and what feels right for you when you're in touch more with your intuition, or in tune more with your intuition. Like, granted, you can pull something out of a book and it tells you to use, you know, black obsidian for, I don't know, a love spell or something. I'm just pulling this right out of my ass pretty much. I'm just making this up. But, you know, and if you resonate with that in the book, like, then go for it. If that resonates with you, how this spell work is pretty much written, or what ingredients are you know, called for this particular ritual or spell work, then go for it. You know, if it resonates with you, there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're still learning. But then when you really start getting in touch with your intuition, you'll be able to just pick stuff out on a fly, like ingredient wise, herb wise, crystal wise, that you'll just feel called to use. Like, oh my God, I want to do some kind of working. And you know what? For whatever reason, I need to make some kind of cinnamon crystal oil and, you know, put it on my candle. You know what I mean? And you'll start feeling what you need to do, or what you want to do.
Exactly. Like intuition, it's a knowing. You know, for me, like gut instinct and intuition is different. For me, I feel like intuition is more of the soul's knowing, whereas gut instinct is more as the body knowing from experiences. You know, and so like that's when the fight or flight kicks in, you know, and I feel like that's when you're good, you know, so like when you're in danger, or you're scared or nervous, or you know, this kind of stuff. But I think with your intuition, like, you just know, there's no question to ask, you know, and that looks different in everybody too, how your intuition talks to you, you know, that's, you need to be able to recognize how your intuition speaks to you when it does, you know, because it could be a physical sensation, it could be an emotion, it could be a taste, it could be a certain smell, you know, it could be flashes, it could be images, you know, it depends on the person. But one thing I think it all has in common is it's subtle. You know, it's subtle. And so you have to really figure out, you know, you got to pay attention. And I think one way that you can figure this out is, for one, meditation, you know, but being present in the here and now in your body. You know, when you take time to meditate, you be present right then and there and in your body, you know. And I think the more that you practice, you know, you'll be able to pick up what it is, you'll be able to hear it, you know. And I think whenever when you hear it, listen to it. You know, you need to listen to it, because I feel like when you do start listening and you don't question it, you don't doubt yourself, then that channel opens up and it gets wider and wider and wider. So then it's like your intuition screams at you, you know. It's not like, it's real quiet. And if you're not really paying attention, you're going to miss it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, here I am. I'm loud and proud, you know?
Yep.
So, you know, it all gets easier, but it does take work. It does take practice.
I'm so glad you mentioned that too, about like letting go of the doubt and stuff, because that your ego, which is your like fears and your doubt about what you're actually feeling, will derail everything you're trying to do. And, you know, even like, you know, even you and I, we all are human. We're gonna struggle with that, where you're like feeling like, oh, I need to use, you know, an orange colored candle with this love working instead of a red or whatever, you know, whatever the traditional stuff is. You know what I mean? And you'll be like, nah, really? You know, but no, if you're feeling it, then there's a reason the universe or spirit or whatever you want to say is, you know, kind of giving you that nudge in that direction, you know, and you just got to trust it and follow it and just put that doubt aside. Same thing when you're like reading cards for people, which I'm sure that'll be a whole nother video we'll talk about later on too, about like divination and stuff.
Yeah.
Is, you know, trusting that intuition, like, and just know that, you know, you're going to give the right messages that are needed to people as long as you're not doubting yourself. And it, you know, messages for other people, whether through tarot or whatever, you know, they don't make sense to you at all, and they're not supposed to. They're not going to make sense to you. You may sound like you're in your head, you're like, oh my God, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about. But that's not the case, because then your client could be sitting across from you and be totally like blown away because you're just hitting on all this stuff that, how do you know this? You know, it's just, you got to trust your intuition and really don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hold on. The Pagan Mail. Hey, Pagan Mail. Pagan Mail says hey. And then we also have Willow Not Out in Tennessee. What's up, Willow Not Out in Tennessee?
Hi, Willow. How
so we
are
probably
you?
talk the same, don't we? We probably sound alike. All right. So does anybody have any questions on that? Like on intuition or visualization? Like I think visualization is huge in my practice too, you know, because like for me, if I want to have any kind of successful workings, then I need to be able to see that desired outcome in my mind's eye. I need to see it already manifested. And I think that's with any practitioner, you know, any spell worker, is we have to see that desired outcome already manifested in our mind. We have to visualize that. And so to be able to, I mean, do that, you've got to practice your visualization skills. Now, I have a few tips or a few tricks that I do. Do you have any that you want to share?
Just usually when you're doing any kind of visualization, I feel like it helps when you're doing like a guided meditation, or you have like some kind of something written on paper, even just to refer to help you like really picture what you need to picture or visualize what you need to visualize. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guided meditations will help you do that, because they'll tell you like what you need to do, and then your imagination just takes it from there with the visualizations. But really just, you know, practice makes perfect. You know, it's, you're not going to be able to hold this vision for a very long period of time at first, but eventually, you know, you'll get there.
Yeah, and like you said, writing it down, that's what I did when I first started. I would find something in the room, you know, and I might look at it for like 30 seconds and then write down everything I could remember, you know, and then I would test myself on it. And then I don't know why I did this, but I moved on to fruit. So I would get like an apple and I would put it in front of me and I would do the same thing with it. And then I would just see it in my mind. I would visualize an apple. I mean, what it looked like, what it smelled like, what color, did it have bruises? Was it shiny? Did it have a stem, any leaves? You know, where did it come from? And on and on and on. And then I moved on to people, you know, like visualizing family members. And then, you know, I might see somebody walking down the street and I would try, you know, as soon as they walk by, I would try visualizing them. And then things from my childhood, and just on and on and on. You know, and it doesn't take long. You can do, you know, 5 to 10 minutes a day, you know, doing that. And then you do that, you know, like in your mind and on paper. It's going to come really, really quick, you know, and then
it'll help
to visualize it.
It'll help so much.
Yep. So that's, you know, that's a little thing. I don't know if it'll, you know, help you, but if you want to try it, give it a try, because it really helped me a lot when I first started, you know, trying to
Yeah.
Flies and stuff. My candle's dancing for y'all.
Oh, in the back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was noticing that earlier.
Yeah,
I'm feeling really hot right now.
Like I know. Look, you see, I was rolling my sleeves up earlier
warm.
because I was hot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been freezing all day. I've had long sleeves on all day long.
God, me too.
And then I was rolling these sleeves up because I started getting warm. But it didn't feel like a normal hot flash. It was just practice-wise warm.
Yes, that's like too. I got to remember that my ancestor altar is right behind me, and I feel like they're all kind of like, like not that they're like towering over me, but they're kind of just keeping a watchful eye, like looking from behind me is what I feel like. But I don't know why I keep feeling like we need to cut this off and save our next topic for the next video, is what I'm feeling.
That's fine. Yeah, because we've got the next one. One of the I guess it's the last thing we really didn't go over was energy working, which will be great. We can talk about, we will tell y'all about working with your own energy, other objects, energy balls, all that sort of thing. So that's perfectly fine. I know you
like that. I feel like that that has to be a video in and of itself, just because like there's so much to it. Not that it's crazy like advanced or anything, like beginners need to start somewhere with that as well, but I just feel like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it, girl. I get it.
It's a lot.
Yeah, thank y'all so much for tuning into our live stream. We're going to try our best to do this on a weekly basis. We're not going to do it the same day because we've got to work around Nightshade's schedule, her work schedule, but we will try to do a video every single week. So I hope each and every one of you will join us on our live stream. Like, I love talking to you guys, and I know that Nightshade does too. And we love interacting with you guys. And if y'all have any questions after the live stream, just jot them down below, and we will both check the comment section and, answer your questions. If it's something we don't know, then we will look it up for you guys. We'll help y'all the best that we can. But we appreciate y'all. And let's see. I know I seen something. Oh, Shamara, I seen what you said about my video, girl. I mean, about my voice, girl, my little accent. Thank you. She likes my country accent. That's so nice.
Too. It's relaxing.
I know. And oh my gosh, I was so self-conscious of my accent. That's one of the reasons too. Like, I was so nervous about doing YouTube videos because I'm so hickish. But anyway,
what you kept saying in a lot of your beginning videos. You were like, "Oh, I'm so country," and I'm just like, "Stop, it's fine." Like, I probably sound weird too. Like we both have two crazy accents apparently off the spectrum. Like, I don't feel that I have an accent, but everybody says I do. That's not from around here, so.
But I like your accent. Like, you sound, I don't know, you sound proper to me. I just sound like I'm, need to go spit and put a piece of hay in my mouth or something. Anyway, let's see. I noticed somebody else said, oh my gosh, hold on. My candle just exploded.
I heard that. Girl, I heard that shatter.
Did you hear that? Yes, do you know how many candles I've burned in that?
Wow.
I've had this Lotus. You heard it? I've had this Lotus candle holder forever. And yeah, it just exploded. There was nothing else in it. Ain't that crazy? All right, guys, we're going to jump off of here. I know that is crazy. But yeah, my energy is really, really intense right now.
That's why I feel like we need to cut it off.
Yeah, it's really.
I'll talk. We can talk after off air,
Yeah. So guys, make sure y'all subscribe to our channel so you know when we're going to go live next. And we appreciate each and every one of you. And y'all have a wonderful night. Until next time, fly high, witches. Peace.
Bye. Many blessings. Thank you all.